Hi guys, my name's Andy and I wanted to share this with you, and it's just my way of working, and it's probably a little bit different to what you've seen elsewhere. The main difference is I'm working at a table that's at standard tabletop height. It's just under 30 inches or 76 centimetres from the floor. And the other thing is my peg isn't fixed. I've made this little, I don't know what you'd call it, like a horse arrangement that allows me to work on whatever I want to work with. I can saw on here, as you just saw, very easily. It provides a stable platform for me to work on. These are the same pegs as I used to use down here and struggle. I used to have these pegs on a piece of wood clamped to the table and I used to struggle away. But now I can work with this. I've got it at the right height. It's more or less at the height of my shoulder, which is great for sawing. I can still do my drilling up there, and you might sort of think, well, that can't provide a very stable platform, but in fact it does. And when you think about it, when you're cutting, you're holding the piece down, you're holding the work down. The peg isn't holding your work, you are. So you're applying the downward pressure. Then when you start to saw, again, you're supplying the downward pressure. There is no upward force that you've got to restrain. And the other good thing is you can take this anywhere with you. You could go on holiday and take this with you if you were really that keen. The other thing is I can use it as a lower platform. So if I want to work at this height, I can do all of my filing, cutting. It does everything that I want it to do. And over the years, I've worked with a lot of industries, and people are doing things simply because they've always done it that way. They've been shown how to do something, and it's like being shown to tie your bootlaces with one bow or two. You know, once people learn, they tend to stick to doing the same thing. As I say, I've worked in the aircraft industry. I've designed and made equipment for the aircraft industry, and when I asked them, what are you doing, and they described it, I said, why are you doing it like that? That's crazy, there's an easier way to do it. I'm not suggesting everybody changes to this method, but for me it works, and I'm sure for a lot of hobby jewellers this they would find very useful, because say you could work on any table anywhere, and at the end of the day you can pick it up and put it away. And generally speaking, it's the same with my tools. If I want to make stained glass on this desk, I can simply pick up my tools and I can move them away. It's not a problem. There's nothing that I need to scrub at when I'm making jewellery. So it's just a different way of doing the same old thing. Now a lot of people will say, oh, it'll rock about and it's unstable. The reality, it's plenty sufficient for making jewellery. If I want to do something heavier, I've got a vise here, which again is G-clamped to the table on a piece of wood, so I can work on there. But I don't need that. This provides a working platform for everything that I want. I'll put full dimensions and a little bit more of a description at the end of the video. As I just wanted to share that with you, because I'm sure for a lot of people just getting started, they can't afford anything fancy. this cost me nothing. It's bits of wood that were left over from building the house. Things that you need to bear in mind. The distance from the top of the peg to this foot underneath needs to be sufficient to accommodate the saw. I think I'll move somewhere else and get better light. My workshop's plenty bright enough for making jewellery, but it's not so good for filming me. Hopefully the lighting's better now to see what I'm doing. I'm working on a table that's the same height, so kitchen table, dining room table, 29.5 inches, 75 centimetres. And again, it's very convenient. Let's say the salient points to bear in mind is make sure that where the force is down from the blade, it wants to be over what I would call the foot of the device, so that the force is going down there. If your peg was sticking out here and you were sawing, you could be in a situation where you tended to pull it over. So a line from the saw blade down, it needs support there. I've made this block, it's just under 6 inches wide, just under 150 millimeters wide, and this is 45 millimeters, 1 inch and 3/4. It doesn't have to be anywhere near as substantial as this. The other useful things, I find I can work with it on its side, so if I really need to scrub at something, I can do. That's, as you can hear, a coarse file. I don't normally. So even like that, there's enough stability there to do everything that I want. I've got a groove cut in it here that allows me to saw tube very easily, so that stops the tube from rocking about. That's very convenient. What I particularly like about having this is it allows me to sit right up to the table, so when I do throw things on the floor, I've got all of this area between me and the table, that me and the horse, that I can work on. I can spread my tools around, which I'm very messy work and all. But say the important thing is make sure you've got enough height from the when the top of the saw is making contact with your peg, that you are not hitting the bottom of the timber there, or the top of the timber there. So you need enough space there, and make sure that the line of the saw blade going vertical into down there is inboard of the end of the support. Okay, I said I'd give you some sort of sketch. So the top part, this is on my sort of saw bench. Whatever you make, there's not many critical dimensions. Mine, I've made it about 6 inches long, 15 centimeters, and the timber that I've got is 6 inches wide, 15 centimeters wide, and all of it is around 1 3/4 inches thick. That's 4.5 centimeters. It could be substantially thinner. It could be, I would think, something like 1/2 inch thick would be plenty thick enough, because it's only got to take force in compression, as it were. It's not going to take any sort of bending force. So I've got my top piece, I've got my peg screwed onto it, and in my case I've got 2 pegs screwed onto it because it is nice and wide, and I can do that. The overall height of mine from the top of this part that the peg is actually screwed onto is 11 inches from the top to the, I'll say, the bench height, the desk height. That's 28 centimeters. But the critical dimension is the dimension from underneath the peg, or from the top of the peg to this surface here. You've got to make sure that your saw, when your saw is hitting the top of the peg, that you've got a little bit of a gap between the bottom of the saw handle and this part of the foot. You don't want to be bang 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 and not using the full length of your blade. And the key to it all is that consider a line of the saw blade running down here vertically. Wherever that line of force is as you're drawing the saw down, that wants to be supported, so the distance there is critical. You don't want this foot to be cut off here somewhere. You need a little bit of overlap there, and in my case, I'll just measure that. It's 4 inch. Oh, I've got it there. 4 inches, 10 centimeters from the front of this foot to the back of that piece of wood. And if I bring that in to there, so that's 4 inches from there to there, and I've actually got, I've probably got an inch and a half. I've probably got an inch and a half gap there from when the blade is in the throat of the peg to there. That's got to be a good inch and a half, because again, you don't want your hand to be rubbing up above on there. I put 3 felt pads on the bottom, as one in the centre, made up of bits, centre back, but these 2 are right on the corners of the front foot. So again, having 3, if your desk is your bench is a little uneven, 3 will act like a tripod and stop it from rocking around. But don't put them inboard, stick them right on the corner, because that's, think about it, that's what you want to stop it from rocking. You want it there and there, and one in the centre back is fine. Okay guys, I hope you found that interesting. I will be making other videos of little things that I do or make that are different to what I'll say conventional jewellers do. As an engineer, I always question everything, and I don't just take it for granted that because the way somebody is doing something, that it's going to be the best way for me to do it. This won't suit everybody. Some people will hate it and say, what the devil are you doing? But it works for me, and it might work for you. So if you subscribe, you'll be sure to catch any other videos that I make. So thanks for watching, guys. And if you if you do decide to have a go at something like this, do let me know, and let me know where in the world you are, please, because I'm always interested to know where folks are and what else they're doing and that. Thanks again, guys. All the very best. Bye bye.